Where do I begin? Hey, what am I interrupting? Justin, you stole that line from me. Or, hey, Rach, hey, Mikey, you got a minute? John disliked very few people, if any, and I was originally one of them. I met John in Cabo in 2006 for my first 𝐇𝐄𝐀 trip when he had a 50 champagne bottle party in his suite, and he thought I was a little rough around the edges. I always blamed it on the champagne. A year later, he handpicked me for his roommate on a company cruise, and all I remember was reading in my dreams journal every day and then seeing him on the dance floor bouncing to Jay-Z with no rhythm. And that's probably why we got along so well, the no rhythm part. Years go by, and I build my brand as 𝐇𝐄𝐬 Mike, the knife salesman, and John selling to every seed company, home builder, Amish furniture maker in the Midwest. The funny thing, in almost 20 years, I never heard John say he's a knife salesman. For John, it was, I own a gifting agency. The next year, I'm the CEO of an international consulting firm. The next year, I'm an investor of a wood, steel, and leather company. The next year, I'm the president of a referral generator association. Another year passes, now he's a chemist who makes and delivers love bombs in some warehouse in St. Louis for a living. He never got into the mobile home parks. I think the title probably wasn't that cool. It's okay to laugh, guys. Johnny would want us to laugh. And we won't get started on all the masterminds and different stages, but I do know John's circles and his trust to his loving family was stronger than the Olympic rings. So to fast forward, John meets Lindsay at an Agrigold event, basically a farmer convention, you know, overalls and Carhartts. And I'm sure she fell in love with his favorite cologne, frankincense and eucalyptus. And his breath smelled of the best non-fluoride toothpaste from Whole Foods, and his hair was gelled up from the finest goat milk made into hair gel from Canton, Ohio. So John and Lindsay get married, start their beautiful family in St. Louis, and John sent an email on that random Tuesday in March. Surprise and delight, right? Be my neighbor. I still think he sent that to 50% of the room, and I was just the BCC on it. He wanted somebody that could share a driveway with him and regift all the non-Ruhlin quality merchandise to. I'd take the bait and say I'm in. Later to realize my best friend, well, Justin, now second best friend, John's number one, but told me to write off everything. So I couldn't get a loan because my taxes showed $857 in earnings that year. Justin has since sharpened up his tax strategy, if you know what I mean. So John calls the bank. Our realtor, Brenda's here, which was so special too, and crafts the beautifully double-spaced email, right, telling them to believe in me. So to fast forward again, Lindsay and Rachel naturally birthed 5 beautiful children together in 1 decade. And we rename our shared driveway and family bond the Ruhlwoods. And I ideally wanted it to say, 1949 𝐇𝐄𝐬 way, but the memories that John shared together were never a dull moment. From Halloween traditions, he would show up in a massive costume of Olaf or Pikachu that he probably bartered 2 chef knives for that morning. But he always made the kids smile. We had the typical candy, the Reese's, the Skittles, but John made sure the girls handed out 𝐉𝐔𝐒𝐓s and sugar-free, non-artificially flavored gummy bears. From Christmas Eve mornings trying to figure out what gifts do we give John was always a fun task. But one thing was for certain, John always smiled so big. and loved everything he got. And then he proceeded into the basement stash of mist engraved samples and let me have first pick of the litter. In all seriousness, he loved everything about his family and the holidays, from hunting on Lindsay's family farm and then asking the meat processor, hey, could you get my deer sticks smoked with no nitrates and preservatives? From cutting down to fresh Christmas trees, trying to tie them on top of a minivan that he would call the Vambaroni. Most importantly, he practiced and lived what he preached, biblical truth, to his girls and his wife. By the way, if you thought your Christmas card fridge was cool, the Ruhlins had a wall, and I don't think they had enough tape to put up everybody's Christmas cards. From New Year's Eve, going to Costco, John would load up on the seafood and I would load up on the steaks. We'd have the paper hats from Walmart. Yes, John actually would shop at Walmart at times. Confetti poppers and the sparkling grape juice and the champagne glasses for that 8:30 p.m. toast. And we'd put on Dick Clark on YouTube and we'd end the night sabering a bottle of Dom with a veggie knife, and Johnny would go, woo-hoo! And half of the champagne would be all over the floor. He never missed an NCAA day one, only to find out he had 2 podcasts scheduled 2 hours into the fun day, and he said, I'll be right back, guys. John obviously loved and cherished and will always cherish his wife and his 4 beautiful daughters. And you guys know he loves you so much. And that's why it's so hard for all of us. But never stop believing in the legacy of playing all out and rallying around the family. He was born on March 16th, John 3:16, which the Bible states, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever will believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And if you've seen the sign, God did not take John, he gifted us John. John opened up so many doors and reminded us all to love and give like Jesus, so we can rest in comfort knowing his soul is saved and is with the Lord. John also told me hundreds of times that he wanted to live off of 10% and give back 90%. Nothing makes more sense than knowing John gave us 100% of his soul and legacy to live with us every single day. John is in heaven with the Father because his heart was too big for this world. In other good news, John has already landed deals with the Martyrs and Disciples, and he's got a speaking engagement on Monday with the AEO, Angels Entrepreneurs Organization. And all guests will already receive a gold 𝐇𝐄𝐀 knife, and he's upgraded his business cards to the gold medal in heaven. I wrap up this message to remind us, God is good, Jesus is Lord, and John loves all of us so much. God bless you, and never lose faith, even in the darkest times.